Welcome to Colombia! Today, the La Guajira travel guide. You will learn everything you need to know to go in this fantastic region. We are hosted by Chocolate Hostel, a hostel within the neighborhood of La Candelaria, the historic part of Bogota. Very close to my office, actually. I can see it from my office, from the backside. When I look out of the window, I see some rooms, but I don't look into the rooms, of course, especially at night. I see nothing. And I was visiting this hostel already once or twice. It's quite big. You have private rooms, you have dormitories, and it's very nice and pricey. My name is Frank. I live in Colombia for over 5 years and I run a travel agency here in Bogota for foreigners traveling to Colombia. And today it's all about La Guajira. And this is one of my favorite departments. It's really magic, it's beautiful, there are some incredible parts, and touristically there is not much going on. So let's go through different destinations in La Guajira and find out what you can find, do and eat there. First, we start with the most famous one. It's called Palomino. And most of you will think, oh, Palomino, but it's in Santa Marta. No, Santa Marta is the capital of the department Magdalena, and La Guajira is a separate department. It's about 90 minutes drive from Santa Marta. So you have Santa Marta here, then you drive towards Venezuela. You have the Parque Tayrona, you drive a little more, and then you have here actually the border, and then the first town is Palomino. It's very famous for being a hippie town. When you arrive, usually people are shocked because what you see is dusty, dirty streets with typical Colombian shops all around, and yeah, it's not really beautiful. And then you can walk towards the shore and you will see many organic food, vegan food, yoga. It's really a bit of a hippie town. Some people really see big magic in the destinations. I do not see too much magic. That's my personal opinion. There's a beach. It's not the best for swimming. The tide is too strong. There are quite some waves. I would say it's very similar to Taganga, same of kind backpacker tourism. Also now you have more the drug and prostitution tourism as you had in Taganga, in Palomino, more and more. But you go uphill to the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, and there are actually some quieter hotels which are quite beautiful, and also you can do tubing around Palomino. So what are actually the activities you can do from Palomino? You can do some wildlife viewing in the Sierra Nevada. You can have a lazy beach day. Not too much about swimming, but maybe running at the beach. Then you can do hiking also in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. But don't go by your own hiking around the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. It could be dangerous because some areas are still coca growing areas, and those fields might be protected, so don't wander around just without clue. That's not a good idea. Then also you can do horse riding. Just ask locals, they will help you with that. And of course you can go to Taironaca. That's a very cool place. It's like open air museum, and you can learn everything about the indigenous cultures of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. You will see how they built their houses, their communities, learn about their traditions, and also you can do some tubing. And I did that when I visited it last time, and I had the sunburn of my life. I had fever for like 3 days because my buddy didn't tell me that it will take that long. He just said 20 minutes, and then we were there over an hour on the water, and oh my god, yeah, I was like fire red. But tubing can be dangerous, so always use lots of sun protection. Then we go to the capital, Riohacha, and it's not that developed yet. It has an airport with a few flights, But what you find is very cool access to the shore, and you have twice two lines for driving all along the beach. You have many vendors. Wayu, the indigenous from La Guajira are called Wayu, and they sell their handcrafts like hammocks and bags, and you will get that much cheaper than in other places, and originally from those people, and they make a living with producing those crafts, and then they usually send a family member selling it in Riohacha. There are some restaurants, some hostels, not too many. There's maybe one or two good hotels, but Riohacha will develop in the next couple of years because you really can see it. It started in Cartagena, then Santa Marta is developing a lot, and now it comes all along the coast. Palomino and Riohacha will develop. That will come. The potential of the region is huge because it's so beautiful. So Riohacha, also you have to be careful. It's not the safest place in Colombia. It's also La Guajira is very close to the border to Venezuela. You have refugees, and yeah, just be careful when traveling around in that region. Then also you have Uribia. That's actually the entrance door to the desert, to Alta Guajira, and you can take the common transport to Uribia, and then usually you go by 4x4 because outside Uribia, up north, there's just desert, no more paved roads, and this is really the indigenous capital of Alta Guajira. And also in Uribia, there's the last ATM, and you will need money if you go further up north to eat, to pay your lodging, or to buy some cool stuff. So Uribia, last ATM, be aware. Then, very famous within the backpacker community and kite surfers, and I love it so much, Cabo de la Vela. It's a fisher town and perfect conditions for kite surfing because the shore, it's very long and the sea is very shallow for a long time, and wind is coming off the land, and it's just the perfect spot for kite surfing. And you see the locals, the indigenous, the Wayu 8-year-old boys, and they fly 10 meters high. It's great, and it's very cheap for learning kite surfing, renting material. Hotels, there's not much. You can sleep in kind of cabins, private rooms, but there is no luxury. And you can sleep in the hammocks. They are called chinchorros, most comfortable hammocks in the world. And you just will have a good time. There's no electricity. They produce usually electricity with generators in the night. And you have fresh fish from the sea. So fishermen, they bring the food, the fresh fish in the morning to the restaurants, and then they prepare your food. Everything runs slow, so if you order food, it might take 1 hour sometimes. What I did, I went there and told them I want to have lunch at 1 o'clock, and then I went there at 1 o'clock and lunch was ready. That was good. If you want to have more details about traveling around in La Guajira, you will find the detailed guides on my homepage, Veleganos. Just look for travel guide La Guajira. You will also find explanations how to travel by public transport, where to change, and so on and so on. So all the details on the homepage on the blog. So, Cabo de la Vela. As I said, accommodations, very basic. Food, fresh seafood. Also, you can eat goat. That's very typical. And kite surfing, I said. And there are actually two sites you should visit. You can go to the Pilón de Azúcar. This is like 20 minutes driving. You can hire one of the local moto boys, moto taxi. And on the back seat, you drive there and use a hat because the sun is very strong. And take a swimming suit because there's also a good beach with some waves, which is cool. And from the Pilón de Azúcar, You have a great view, you can take pictures and selfie. That's an awesome place, you should visit it. And also very famous for sunset is El Faro, the lighthouse. And if you're there with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend, whoever you like, go to the faro in the night for sunset and you will see a wonderful sunset. Then prices. So depending on what you eat, the food is usually for a meal between 15 and 30,000 pesos. 1 hour of guiding, I think I paid 90,000 pesos. Moto taxi to Pilon was like 10 to 15,000 pesos, and colectivo from Uribia to Cabo de la Vela, that's like the public cheap transportation with all the indigenous, that was like 20,000 pesos, so very cheap. Also what you can do, you can go up to Punta Gallinas, and this is the northernmost point of La Guajira, and this is just magic. It's 5 hours driving, more or less, by 4x4. There are organized tours. You can book them in Riohacha or also in Cabo de la Vela, just ask the locals. And it's an adventure. Also depending on the quality of your car, of your operator. Sometimes when there is rain, which can happen due to hurricanes, you need to go up there by boat, which, after my opinion, is much more comfortable. I did that with my dad. And I also drove up there by myself in a convoy with YU, which was, that was nice, that was cool. So up in Punta Gallinas, there's just one hotel. You can then decide if you want to eat fish or lobster, and you will see different sites. The beach is great because you have a dune and you can run from the dune direct into the water. It's magic. It's just, and touristically, nothing is going on. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. Don't try to get up there by yourself with the rented motorbike or something. People vanished in that zone. So if you travel around there, you can go to Cabo de Vela with public transport. If you're with the YU in a jeep, that's all fine. But don't try to go to Punta Gallinas by your own. Really, don't try. Don't do it. And yeah, that's actually it. Alta Guajira, magic place. I hope I will do a video production of that this or next year. We'll see. But it's just one of my favorites. And I want to go back because I learned kite surfing. And last time I went there, it's like 2 years, and I really miss it. And it's good to disconnect from the world a little bit over there. And then also you can go to the coal mine Cerrejón, and this is, I think, the biggest open coal mine in Latin America, and it's run by 3 different companies, and one of those companies is also Glencore, which is one of the biggest commodity traders in the world. They have their headquarters in Zug, Switzerland. And you have a train, like 700 kilometers, railroads, and you have 3 trains, and they have each 109 cars. And actually, no, the railroad track is 150 kilometers long. So usually when you go to La Guajira, you see them. It's quite impressive. And also the mine can be visited. You have to register in advance because then they will check your details, and then you might get in or not. You will see it's really huge with these huge trucks that are high as buildings. And what I remember when I was there, so it's kind of the typical story you hear about commodities and developing states, that they use the local water resources, and the communities around, they don't get nothing, so there are some disputes still. Also, the question of corruption is still always in place. I cannot tell. I just don't know. It's just from what I hear, it's like the typical story. When we visited it, what we saw, or what they explained us, is that they're doing the renaturalization. And they showed us a green field, and Sarah, my deputy, she's a biologist with a PhD. So she knows her stuff, and she identified right away that the plants they're using are invasive. So yeah, what they're doing, they're just planting something that gets green within no time, but they're putting the whole region in risk, because if you use invasive plants, they might spread. And yeah, this is not the kind of behavior I expect from multinationals. So if some of you guys see that, renaturalization works differently than just using invasive plants to make everything green very fast again. Okay, yeah, I think that's a different topic, the exploitation of developing states by commodity companies. Also, you have close to Riohacha, you have Los Flamencos Park. And yeah, you will find flamingos, many. You can go with the guide and with the boat. And it's a nature park, it's nice, also good for bird watching. And then what you also, usually on tours, they offer you to go to the salt mine in Manue. Don't do it. No, you drive there and then you see those water basins where they get the salt, and that's it. No explanation, you don't get out of the car or whatever. At least the tour I made, yeah, it's just a loss of 1 hour. Then, also what you can do in Alta Guajira is go and visit the rancherias, visiting the local indigenous population, the Wayuu, and you will see they have nothing. They're really poor, especially the ones that do not live on the shore. And the education level is really low. Where I went there, like 1 out of 5 spoke Spanish, and everybody's starving, and many kids also die of hunger, and it's really a very difficult area, also very corrupt, they say. Actually, they're famous for being the most corrupt department together with El Chocó, which is the one on the Pacific coast. And the hotels I actually can recommend in La Guajira, in these different zones. You can go in Riohacha, Hotel Taroa. You have a nice terrace. You see the whole area, which is great. You have Pavo Real in Palomino. Check that out. That's a friend of mine, also a Swiss guy. It's really nice, good food. They have a pool. And then when you go Cabo Vela, if you want to have like the best of the best, which is still standard, you go to Rancheria Uta. But then you have at least a private room, you have a hammock on your balcony, and they have cool drinks, and that's all good. Rancheria Uta, good stuff. Then cultural agenda, I have to read that because I have a really bad memory. So you have the Divi Festival in June, July. Then you have the Festival of the Wayuu culture in May. You have the Cuna de Accordion Festival, Villanueva in September. The Festival of the Coal in October, and Francisco el Hombre Festival in Riohacha in January. Some festivals. So, and then a really important point, shopping. As I said, in La Guajira they produce those wonderful hammocks, chinchorros, and those bags. Everything is handmade, handcrafted by those indigenous Wayuu, and they really survive with producing those things and selling them. And I have a big chinchorro, one of the big hammocks. You have actually, as far as I know, 3 sizes. You have the simple one, you get for about 200,000. I have the double one that was like 500,000 pesos, and you can use it 2 people. It's wonderful. I usually use it alone, and that's just great. And then you have the family one, which is 1.5 million, but usually you don't see that often. If you want one of those, you have to order it, and so much work, and it will take them months to produce it. But 1.5 million, this is like today's exchange rate, $400. It's nothing. It's really, if you go to Guajira, buy hammocks and bags. They're awesome. Awesome quality and beautiful. Then food in La Guajira. Yeah, eat seafood. Fresh fish. It's just perfect. It's really good. Best travel time. You can go there all year round. Best wind, I think, you have in June. So if you want to go kite surfing or windsurfing or whatever, then check on the wind. Also be careful when there is hurricane season. It might happen that there's not a hurricane, but that the hurricane pushes rain clouds to the region, and then it might rain. And if it rains in the desert, you cannot pass. It's just it's a no-go zone. Then it's very difficult. Then you have an airport in La Guajira in Riohacha, the capital. You have a flight to Aruba, so that's actually a good option. If you're a kite surfer, you can go to Aruba and then go to Cabo de la Vela, and then you see the difference. They're on a very similar level. This is why you have the good wind. Then you have, of course, from Bogota and also from Pereira. You have direct flights. Transport systems. You can get to Riohacha and by bus from Cesar, Valledupar, or from Santa Marta. And then you go to Uribia, and then it becomes difficult because they have a bus terminal, and last time I was there, it was built, but there were no buses. So everything with colectivos, private cars, and 4x4s. So transport system might be difficult. And as I said, if you want to go on tours, then go with a travel agency, with a good operator. What I like about La Guajira and what I don't like. To be honest, it's a magic destination. It's really great, and I love it. I want to go back again. And what I don't like about it, it's really a poor region, and people die, kids die because of corruption and difficult environment. If you like our videos, subscribe, hit the button and also the bell that you will not miss any future content. Write comments if you have questions or if you want to add value and tell your story or your experiences. You will find further information in the description section. Also, if you want to travel to Colombia and book a quality trip, contact me right away. I'm more than happy to help you. Otherwise, I will see you soon on my channel again, or even better, here in Colombia. I send you all the best wishes. Yours, Colombiafrank. Bye-bye.